by the saint and management by the talented. The management here only implies a difference in the division of labor instead of the difference in the status. Saint manages affairs without action, preaches the doctrine without words. All things take their rise, but he does not turn away from them. He gives them life, but does not take possession of them. He acts, but does not appropriate, accomplishes, but claims no credit. It is because he lays claim to no credit that the credit cannot be taken away from him. Exalt not the wise, prize not rare objects, shut out from sight the things of desire, and the cunning ones shall not presume to interfere. In his dwelling the sage loves the lowly earth. In his heart he loves what is profound. In his relations with others he loves kindness. In his words he loves sincerity. In government he loves peace. In business affairs he loves ability. In his actions he loves choosing the right time. Banish wisdom, discard knowledge. Banish humanity, discard justice. Banish cunning, discard utility. Embraces the one core principle, thinking or method, etc., in everything you do. Eschew excess, eschew extravagance, eschew pride. Point 7. Govern the home with justice, not with human wisdom. Do away with taboos, sharp weapons, skills of technique, and statutes. 8. Despise not their dwellings, dislike not their progeny. From the above 8 points, it can be known that there should be invisible saints in the second home, who do not guide with preaching, but with wordless examples, who create things silently but do not take possession of them, and who serve all creatures but do not claim credit for their services. Do not flaunt the worthy, make people unselfish and possess nothing. Make sure that they have nothing but actually possess everything. Embrace the one in everything. Revere and believe in the only greatest creator in the universe. Abide by the overall arrangement of the only government in the whole world. There will be only one person responsible for everything. Do not have a life of luxury and do not waste. Practice moderation in everything. Do not overdo. All affairs and arrangements of the second home should be made public so that everyone has a clear knowledge of them. Do not engage in secretive management. Do not practice superstition. People should stick to facts, science, logic, and spiritual perception. There should be few prohibitions, commandments, terms, and taboos in the second home. The second home should never possess any swords, spears, rods, and other weapons specially to harm others. It should not sing praise of people's cleverness and skills. It should make people live and work in peace and contentment and enjoy the ordinary life. It should not cause disturbance to their settlement or disrupt their peace and quiet. It should make sure that everyone enjoys the joy, pleasure, freedom, and happiness of life. It should abstain from force, coercion, and suppression, and should make sure that no one imposes his or her own will upon others. In one word, the second home adopts paradise management. The content of this method of management is both simple and complicated, and only those with supreme wisdom can understand. Yet, no matter how complicated the management is, everything will become extremely simple as long as you follow the way of the greatest creator or the way of nature. Otherwise, the management will become extremely complex. 混沌管理，用服务代替管理. Paradise management, replace management with service. Xuefeng. November 4th, 2010. Paradise management has very rich connotations. It is simple because it does not manage anything. It is at the same time complicated because it is the highest form of management, which makes everything operate in a methodical and orderly manner. In paradise management, management is replaced with service. The host is actually the servant and the management is actually the service. No administrative orders will be employed. No force will be used. Submission shall not be obtained via threats, lure by promises of gains, intimidation, or suppression. It is forbidden to impose one's own will upon others to make them painful or unhappy. It is forbidden to make anyone feel any sense of inequality between people. The greatest creator acts, helps, and does not appropriate them, is superior, and does not control them, accomplishes, but claims no credit. Water benefits all things, and does not compete with them. It dwells in the lowly places that all disdain, but of the best. When their task is accomplished, their work done, the people all remark, "We have done it ourselves." A good runner leaves no track. A good speech leaves no flaws for attack. A good reckoner makes use of no counters. A well-shut door makes use of no bolts, and yet cannot be opened. A well-tied knot makes use of no rope, and yet cannot be untied. Of the best rulers, the people only know that they exist. The next best they love and praise. The next they fear, and the next they revile. What paradise management employs is affinity instead of deterrence, happy play and games instead of a serious appearance, naturalness instead of resort to force. This method of management offers happiness and freedom instead of suffering and bondage. It exerts its influence subtly and does not resort to rainstorm-like power. It teaches with wordless example. It enlightens spiritual wisdom and perception and makes people fully exhibit their sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, honesty, simplicity, and character. It does not resort to endless preaching and cheating, and it does not arouse people's selfishness and greed. It is difficult to give a full and clear definition of paradise management, which can be easily understood but is difficult to explain in words. But one thing is certain, and this is service. Mobilize initiative with love, move with real emotion, and make people move toward perfection with sincere service. All looks so natural, without any track of force and suppression. Of course, when faced with disproportion and radicalism, paradise management will stop its apertures and dull its edges, from Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching. 不结婚如何过日子? The life without marriage. Xuefeng. Once one gets married and forms a family, he or she will be plunged in a life of misery. He or she will lose the fundamental freedom of being a man, not to mention the chance of attaining immortality or Buddhahood. Anyone with a family is selfish. They cannot help being selfish because they are controlled, encumbered, and dominated by the program of family. How much pressure a person must bear if he or she does not get married and form a family? The pressure of parents, the persuasion of relatives and friends, the care of neighbors and colleagues, the criticism from the society all bear down on our spirit and soul like huge mountains. The physiological demand, the desire for a home, the worry for illness and death, and the difficulty to relieve loneliness all make us desire instinctively to get married and form a family. If the above problems are not resolved, we will feel pain and suffering all the same, and we may even have greater pain and suffering if we do not get married and form a family, because getting married and forming a family is a matter of course and as easy as sailing downstream, while not getting married and forming a family is as difficult as sailing upstream. The problem is that sailing downstream leads to no other than pain and suffering, which history of mankind has proved to be unavoidable. Then we have no choice but to sail upstream. Let's discuss and resolve these problems one by one. First, the pressure of parents. We should be filial to our parents, but we cannot give in to our parents in the matter of life and life. We know about the road taken by our ancestors all too clearly. It is a road of misery, which we should not repeat. If our parents force us to get married and form family, we must raise some conditions to them. 1. Ask our parents to tell us the significance and value of life. 2. Ask our parents to tell us the nature and meaning of life. 3. Ask our parents to provide good housing conditions. 4. Ask our parents to guarantee our happiness all our life. If our parents cannot meet these conditions, then we can tell them in definite terms that we cannot get married and form a family. As for the persuasion of relatives, friends, neighbors, and colleagues, we can also respond with the above 4 conditions. Or we can simply respond with one question. Can you help me through if I encounter plight and pain after getting married and forming a family? Please give me a written pledge. As for the criticism from the society, we can just ignore it. If pigs say something is wrong with man's life, then just let them squabble. How can we solve the problem of physiological need? The need for food and beauty is our inherent character. The need for sexual life is but a matter of course, otherwise the greatest creator would not have designed those organs and senses for us. A life without sex would be one with abnormal spirit and psychology. We will not only have sex, but also have sex of high quality and happiness. Why don't we? Only a fool would not have sex. Without marriage, with whom do we have sex? It is impossible to do this with chicken and ducks. Contracting disease is only a small matter when compared with the loneliness and solitude of spirit and soul that can't be relieved even after the axe. One cannot afford it economically, and no one would care for your living, old age, illness, and death. Can we find someone randomly to live with us? This may temporarily meet our urgent need, but does not provide long-term solution. What is worse is that we have to bear a lot of liabilities. We may commit irremediable mistakes and cause a series of chain reactions, and suffering and mystery may be endless. My advice is to become Chanyuan Celestials and have the sex life with Chanyuan Celestials. On the condition that you don't go against the ethics, you can make love with whichever Chanyuan Celestial you want to be with, as long as the two of you are willing to do so. You can choose the way that you like. Because we have the same belief, we share the same frequency and resonance. We are a whole. We have the same life values. We are not bound together. We don't hurt each other. We are willing to pay everything for each other, including life. Here is the trouble. Once people, especially our relatives, friends, neighbors, and colleagues, know that we are Chanyuan Celestials and are so casual and free, we will be drowned by condemnation, insult, revile, and grief, and we will be the helpless lambs surrounded by packs of wolves, torn, bitten, trampled, and swallowed. And this will be the price we have to pay for the pursuit of freedom. However, one would rather die than lose the freedom. Without freedom, what do we live for? You live a life, but for whom do you live? Therefore, to get freedom, one must be prepared to remold himself thoroughly, and to be reviled by the so-called gentlemen, kind-hearted people, moralists, and defenders of traditional moral principles. One must be prepared to completely break with the secular world. In one word, one be prepared to die. When I am writing these heretical remarks, when I say that the God preached by the Bible is not the real God, when I reprimand family, religion, political party, and state, I have been prepared to die anytime. I have said that every day might be my last day. However, I can speak the truth for myself. I am satisfied with my magnanimity and openness. Even if I am dead now, I have no regret because I have lived a real life. The publication of this article may cause some Chanyuan Celestials to leave the home and may cause some people who want to enter Chanyuan to shrink back. No matter what the results might be, this is life at Chanyuan. We just tell the truth. We are fair and upright. How do we solve a series of problems? Please read the next article. Chanyuan Celestials will live in this way. 禅院草创造美梦祈祷词 A prayer for Chanyuan Celestials to create beautiful dreams. Xuefeng, December 7, 2010. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Preface. Life is like a dream. A dream is like life. Life is but a dream. A dream is also your life. People have lots of dreams throughout their lives, so let every one of them become splendid and fantastic so that they can wander in beautiful dream worlds every night. Dreams are also supplements, links to great lives. A dream is a reflection of a person's state of consciousness, physiology, and soul. Good people have good dreams. Evil people have nightmares. In order to enjoy beautiful dreams, you must first obtain a good consciousness, physical health, and a beautiful soul. If one's consciousness is a mess, has many physiological defects, or has a soul garden that is full of weeds such as jealousy, resentment, anger, anxiety, selfishness, greed, laziness, arrogance, and so on, then they cannot enjoy beautiful dreams. Chanyuan Celestials are baptized by the values of life at Chanyuan and are building their own soul gardens. In order to cooperate with the construction of these soul gardens, this prayer for Chanyuan Celestials to create beautiful dreams was composed. Lie naked on your bed. Take 8 deep breaths and clear your mind. And forget all the problems of your past day. Remain peaceful and simple. Meditate on the beauty of the 1,000-year world or the 10,000-year world for 3 minutes and read the prayer below attentively. The prayer for creating beautiful dreams. Loving greatest Creator with my infinite reverence, I am lying in your warm, comfortable, safe, and gentle embrace. Your spiritual light embraces my whole body. As spring rain moisturizes seedlings, brightness and beauty are falling on me. All is harmonious and peaceful. The night is sacred and the earth is quiet. The air is filled with the fragrance of flowers. The first faint glimmer of dawn twinkles in the distance. Tomorrow's world will be more beautiful than today's was. I am a beautiful flower fairy. I am a beautiful elf. I am a baby with your special care and blessing. I am always bathed in your spiritual light wherever I go. With neither fear nor darkness, I can enjoy running and playing on the prairie, and in the river as much as I can to my heart's content. Nothing can hurt me. My world is full of joy and safety. My future is beautiful. I yearn for it infinitely. Following your messenger, I have neither worries nor hesitation. Flowers pave the road ahead of me. The great beauty of my hometown, the thousand-year world, beckons to me. I am a fairy. I am an angel. I can fly in the vast blue sky. Ah, the feeling of flying is so comfortable and joyous. I want to fly. Fly to the distant hometown of heaven. Oh dear greatest Creator, thank you for all that you have bestowed upon me. I am no longer sad and have no worries. I have taken the path that you have arranged for me. The road ahead is clear, and my future will continue to become more joyous and full of brightness, pleasure, and happiness. Ah, peaceful night. I am so happy to be lying in your arms. The fragrance of affectionate love follows me on my path to heaven. Gods, Buddha, angels are with me. Tonight is full of fresh flowers and sweet dreams, and I will enter dreamland and my dreams will be sweet and beautiful. Amen. Attention. The magic of the above prayer lies in your consciousness. Everything that has been inlaid to your consciousness will be realized even it seems illusory. Sense it in your heart and create it with your consciousness. Copy or print the above prayer in a larger font and read them in silence. If you are still unable to fall asleep, then read them twice or 3 times till you fade into the dream world. The second home, now new oasis for life. How can I repay you? Xuefeng, November 8, 2011. In the second home, I have had the most wonderful chapter of life and bring. People can live in your embrace and feel no regret. But how can I repay you the second home? If I cannot repay you, then I will be an ungrateful black sheep and a lazy parasite. The second home, can I be permitted to repay you in the following 8 aspects? 1. Every day I will get up early in the morning and finish my work conscientiously, with or without management and supervision. I will willingly and voluntarily set my mind on work and do it well. 2. Every day, I will greet every sister, brother, relative, and lover with sunny smiles. I will never spoil other people's good mood with my negative, passive, and pessimistic feelings. I will bring happiness and joy to every sister and brother that I meet with my smiles, kindness, and diligence. 3. Every day I will keep the home clean and tidy. I will never litter. I will never defile any corner of the home, including the bedroom, dining room, table, washing basin, bath, courtyard, path, toilet, and any other tool that I have used. For I will never complain to my sister and brother about my grief and distress, never dump the spiritual garbage to them, never talk anything evil about my sister and brother behind their backs, never fabricate and spread disputes, never find fault with anyone, and never blame or reproach anyone. 5. I will never waste any materials and articles in the home, even a piece of tissue paper. I will never be sumptuous in using the resources of the home, never appropriate any materials. I will treasure and show care for any utensil that I have used and never cause damage to them. 6. I will be a well-educated and civilized person. I will never breach the law of the state and never involve myself in any criminal activities. What I say should be an honest and heartfelt expression of sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, faith, and honesty. My action will never cause harm to anyone, to the society, and to nature. 7. Every day, I will cherish everything in the second home and cherish the life that has not been easy to come by. I will be grateful to Buddha and the greatest Creator for everything, to the home. If the home is in need of my service, I will devote everything, including my life, to the home, even if I have to climb the mountain of bayonets and cross the sea of fire. 8. Every day, I will perfect my soul in everything I choose to do and eliminate the weeds in the garden of my soul, such as jealousy, complaint, comparison, anger, fury, censure, resentment, selfishness, greed, arrogance, laziness, passivity, pessimism, gossip, vulgar, shallowness, and barbarity. I will make myself a beautiful scenic spot in the home, and make myself a matter of pride for the home. Let the home be more splendid because of me. Let every sister, brother, relative, and lover be joyful and happy because of my existence. The second home, I find it difficult to express my love and gratitude for you in words. No matter what happens, I will devote myself heart and soul to you. I will put all my heart to build you, protect you, and perfect you. I will devote everything of mine to you, including time, energy, intelligence, strength, and material power. I am more than ready to contribute everything to you. Help me to build a paradise on the earth. Xuefeng, November 13th, 2018. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. To those with an open spiritual perception, I am the guide of life Echanuan from the thousand-year world of heaven. I now am an experienced builder of paradises on earth. I have written for the past 2 decades, the main contents of which are written in Chanyuan corpus and Xuefeng corpus, but there are also more than 1,000 undeclared articles about the arrangements and details of life in an earthly paradise. I have built several of them over the past decade, including 9 picturesque Xanadu homes in mainland China. However, the Chinese government forcibly disbanded and destroyed all of them because they misinterpreted us as a religious organization. Now, I want to rebuild them in full accordance with the model of the thousand-year world of heaven. The paradise which I want to build on the earth is neither a utopia, communism as it is now understood, the New Harmony Village that Robert Owen built in the United States, those communities which still exist today, such as Oroville in India, Tamara in Portugal, Damanhuri in Italy, Findhorn in Scotland, Christie Diane, the Free City in Denmark, Ideal Society, and 12 tribal communities in Canada, Twin Oaks, Hummingbird, Dancing Rabbit, Tremor Education Community, and Ananda Village in the United States, nor countless others. It is most similar to Kanahana family in Japan in spirit, but not in form. What I want to build is a functioning paradise on earth. What will that look like? You can gain an overall understanding and see a general picture by referring to the following sources. Search for the Thousand-Year World on Baidu or Google. Read the texts or watch the videos of The Bright Spot of the Second Home, Now New Oasis for Life series. More information is available on the following websites: smcyinternationalfamily.org, bit.ly/2qwrq4j, lifechanyuan.org, newoasis4life.org, leafcosmos.org, Chinese, lifelvzhou.org, Chinese, chaneyuan.org. Centering on sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, honesty, peace, and joy, I can build what you can imagine, but I need the following resources. No less than 60 hectares of land with nearby rivers or spring water and year-round spring-like climate with neither intense heat nor severe cold, which is like Harare, Zimbabwe, or Chuxiong, Yunnan, China. $1 million. Local governmental permits. 300 people from a multitude of nationalities, cultures, races, and faiths will be selected to participate in constructing, living, and producing in it. Why would I build such a paradise in the human world? To create an ideal mode of life for people and to point to a beautiful and brilliant road for mankind which will give them freedom from worry, pain, anxiety, and fear. To let people know that paradise does exist as long as you make the effort and that by doing so, you can live in heaven from now on. To let people know that life is so beautiful that we can lead happy, free, joyous, and blessed lives and be even happier after death. If you have the ability, please give me a hand. If you can provide the land, that would be great. If you can provide the money, that would also be great. If you can acquire a governmental permit, that would be great too. No matter how much or in what form you can help, please do it. You would be giving alms formlessly, and the returns would be inconceivable. This is a matter of life and death because over the next decade, climate changes will become more and more volatile. Droughts, floods, hurricanes, intense heat, and severe cold will attack us, and fires, floods, and plagues from insects and pestilence will happen. The number of refugees will grow geometrically, and people will compete for resources just to survive. As a result, conflicts and competition between states, interest groups, religious and political groups, and patriarchal clans will become more intense, and the situation will become absolutely tragic, even cutthroat. Every day will be a contest between life and death. What you have now will soon crumble to smoke and ashes. It is better to dedicate your offerings now, because that could lead you into a more livable future. I am eagerly awaiting your good news. Facebook, Xuefeng 2018. WeChat, 00125070633283. Email, xuefeng2218@163.com. 人生行为三要素. Three causes of life's behavior. Xuefeng, January 7th, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Affection, reason, and nature are the three causes of life's behaviors. What are the factors that motivate people to perform in certain ways? Birds die for food, but people die for money. Is it wealth that motivates people to behave in certain ways? The prosperity of the world is for profit. The hustle and bustle of the world is for profit. Is it profit that motivates people to perform in certain ways? In fact, it is neither wealth nor profit, but affection, reason, and nature. For example, some quarrels and fights between husbands and wives, fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, brothers and sisters, or even colleagues have nothing to do with wealth or profit, but they still happen. I want to ask the world, what is life all about? Some people live for it, others die for it. People here do not live and die for wealth and profit. Life is dear, love is dearer. Both can be sacrificed for freedom. Everyone must die. Let me leave but a loyal heart in the pages of history, and similar behaviors are not for wealth or profit. According to Maslow's theory of the hierarchy of the needs in life, what makes certain behaviors happen are the physiology, safety, social interaction, respect, and self-actualization needs of people. According to Freud, sexual instinct in the unconscious mind is the basic motivation for human behavior. Both Maslow and Freud make sense, but they cannot explain all the motivations of human behavior. For example, trampling on an ant or praising a member of the same sex cannot be analyzed by Maslow and Freud's theories. However, all the motivations of human behavior can be explained by affection, reason, and nature. In other words, all human behavior is in accordance with either affection, reason, or nature. It must be at least one of these three. If a certain behavior is not in accordance with affection, then it must be with reason or nature. If it is in accordance with neither reason nor nature, then it must be with affection. We often say that someone is unreasonable or irrational when in fact they are really unreasonable, but they are being affectionate. We often say that someone is indifferent when in fact they are just not affectionate, but their behavior is in accordance with their nature. Home is not the place for reasoning, it is the place for affection and nature. Men value rationality while women value affection, so couples often do not understand each other. Either spouse will think that the other is being unreasonable and selfish when in fact they are both playing a harp to a cow. Doing so is not the fault of the cow, but that of the player. What is the use of playing a harp to a cow? You are not on the same channel and are just annoying the cow. The behavior of living for yourself while helping others secretly is not in accordance with affection nor with reason, but it is in accordance with nature. That is someone's nature. Some people are born omnivores while others are lifelong vegans. This cannot be analyzed with affection or reason because it is the product of one's nature. All desires are manifestations of people's natures, all requirements are manifestations of affection, and all preaching are manifestations of reason. The advantage of knowing this truth is that everyone in the world becomes pleasing to your eye. Everyone becomes right. Do not worry if children are crying. They are just expressing their nature. Take it easy if a wife is crying, shouting, and trying to hang herself. She is just in a mood. Do not be afraid if a husband is yelling sternly. He is reasoning. Trump launched a trade war against China, so Xi Jinping fought back, tit for tat. Xi Jinping wanted to invade Taiwan by force, so Tsai Ing-wen talked domineeringly. Some people are screaming, "Exterminate the CPC," while others are shouting, "We love the CPC." In my opinion, they are all right. If you only consider from the perspective of affection, reason, or nature, then you will feel that they are all wrong. If you do so from my three causes, affection, reason, and nature, then you will feel that everyone in the world is right. Who can say that mice who dig holes are wrong, but that cats who catch them are right? On the contrary, who can say that cats who catch mice are wrong, but that mice who dig holes are right? All are right and none are wrong because they are all following their natures. Eventually, you will find that those who are destined to die will die, and those who are destined to live will live. Those who are destined to live are still alive. This is good. Those who are destined to die are dead. This is also not bad. 无用之用有大用. Uselessness has great use. Xuefeng, January 7, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Life's journeys are full of contradictions, struggles, conflicts, fights, troubles, pains, disasters, and a preponderance of anxiety. Something has to be wrong with this. So what is it? The problem is that people are all chasing useful things and have no time to consider the useless ones. What are considered life's useful things? Money, power, fame, gain, and carnal pleasure are a few. What are considered life's useless things? Beliefs, ideals, faith, morals, and integrity are some. If someone is not lacking money for food, clothing, shelter, and transportation, but is still in deep trouble and pain, then their problems have doubtlessly been pursuing useful things and completely neglecting useless ones. By the existence of things, we profit. By the non-existence of things, we are served. Useful things are for profit and useless things are for usage. Useful things are for survival and useless things are for life. Those who pursue money, power, fame, profit, and carnal pleasure all their lives are only doing it for survival, which will inevitably lead to fighting, killing, depriving, robbing, complaining, envying, suffering, and eventual disasters. The rich died violently, the powerful were imprisoned, the famous committed suicide, the owner of land and luxury cars died on the street, and attractive celebrities were betrayed and bullied. That quote illustrates how the things that are seen as being useful are not really of great use. If those who possess money, power, fame, profit, and carnal pleasure neglect the so-called useless things, then their results will be misery and their lives will face tragic ends. Faith which seems useless can guide lives. With it, you can escape the reef and avoid being drawn into the vortex of tragedy by the power of the secular world. Following the right ideals can make people's minds bright, reduce nonsensical follies, words, and actions, establish self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-discipline, and avoid the company of troublesome people. If you have faith, you can maintain righteousness under difficult and confusing circumstances, and temporary setbacks and tribulations will not cause you to associate with evil influences to commit illegal acts, use drugs, or go out whoring, or scam and steal from people. This is actually tantamount to avoiding disaster. People of virtue can calm down and remain at ease with no anxiety for wealth or honor, no worries about poverty or humbleness, to be content with the rules of Tao, and to just enjoy their lives regardless of where they are or what they are doing. People of quality can behave as evergreen trees fight severe cold, smiling faces pull through midsummer, born in a valley, do not refuse to bloom because you have no audience. Cultivate virtue and morality, do not change integrity for hardship. In fact, it is analogous to avoiding a lot of troubles, pains, and disasters. It can be seen from this that what seems useless has great use. Since useless things are of such great use, then why do the overwhelming majority of people seek out only what they perceive as useful ones? The answer is that the vast majority are myopic. They see no farther than the tips of their noses. People only look for their short-term interests and never take the long-term into consideration. They are all afraid of suffering losses, so they want to get their material wealth early. Human society has been this way in the past, is now, and will remain the same in the future. Worries, pains, anxiety, fears, and disasters will always accompany people, and nothing will change unless Tao has other plans. Knowing this, I can only watch with cold eyes. 正义永远战胜不了邪恶. Justice can never defeat evil. Xuefeng, July 4, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Bandy. I often hear people say, justice will eventually defeat evil. After my long review and inspection, I finally found that justice will eventually defeat evil is a self-comforting phrase. The fact is that justice can never defeat evil in this space and time of the world, and for the same reason, evil can never defeat justice. I have theoretical and practical basis for this conclusion: justice can never defeat devil. In theory, the sum of positive and negative energies in the universe is zero. Positive and negative are like acting force and reactive force, equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. From the law of the unity of opposites, justice and evil are twin brothers. Where there is justice, there is evil. Justice and evil complement each other and are both opposed and united. If evil is eliminated, justice will no longer exist, just as if the carnivores were eliminated, it will be difficult for the herbivores to exist. Without up, there will be no down. Without front, there will be no back. Without coming, there will be no going. Without death, there will be no life. Where there is day, there is night. Where there is long day, there is long night. Day can never defeat night, and of course night can never defeat day either. From this, we can draw a conclusion that justice and evil coexist in the human world. The human world is the time and space where justice and evil fight and kill. No one can defeat the other. No one can destroy the other. Even if justice or evil temporarily dominates, the situation will reverse, just as the day and night. In practice, looking at the history and current situation of mankind, when did justice prevail over evil? Justice and evil are like two evenly matched people holding each other, fighting, beating, and rolling. For a while, justice is above and evil is below, and for a while, evil is above and justice is below. There has never been a case where justice has long prevailed over evil. In the human world, evil has a fertile soil and environment for survival. The greed of the human heart is one of the most fertile soils. Is there any time for the greed of human heart to be satisfied? The answer is no. Is 100 million enough? No. 10 billion enough? No. 100 billion enough? Not enough either. If you are rich, you still want honor. If you have honor, you also want power. If you have power, you want to control the world. After controlling the world, you also want to control the universe. After you have controlled the universe, you want to be the greatest creator. You can see from this that justice can never defeat evil. Why people's greedy cannot be satisfied. There is a huge secret here, which is the dynamic balance mechanism of life in the universe. What is the dynamic balance mechanism of life in the universe? The laws and principles that maintain the survival of life and interpret the ups and downs of the magnificent plot are the dynamic balance mechanism of life in the universe. Here is a simple example. In a country, there is only one president. There are several hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of so-called management staff under the president. The number of the ordinary people is the largest. To maintain this kind of management mechanism, the common people must try to climb upwards, and the ones above them will push downwards, constantly climbing and constantly pressing. The reality constituted by this kind of climbing and pressing is the dynamic balance mechanism. Among the 20 parallel worlds and 36 dimensional spaces in the universe, there are heaven, hell, and human world. People in hell want to go into heaven, just like ordinary people want to be president. This is not feasible. So what to do? We must find a way to keep a large number of lives out of the gates of heaven. The human world is a transit station between heaven and hell, and a battlefield where justice and evil fight and kill. The most effective way to contain a large number of lives outside of heaven is to make people greedy, unenlightened. Thus you can know the reason why justice can never defeat evil in the human world. Seeing through reality, should those who think that they are righteous be very pessimistic? Do you think that this mechanism is unreasonable? Do you think that it is benevolent only when there is no hell but heaven? If you think this way, it is irrational. You can imagine that if all insects, birds, beasts, domestic animals, fish, shrimps, snakes, and scorpions are all transformed into human beings, can human beings survive any longer? The sea of bitterness is boundless. Is there a way to be optimistic? Yes. Where? The person from heaven will lead you to find a way to be optimistic. 不要期望石头会变成西瓜. Do not expect stones to become watermelons. Xuefeng, July 24, 2019. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. Can a stone ever become a watermelon or a watermelon a stone? Of course not, but according to Chan Yuan values, nothing is impossible, but only things that cannot be realized or changed by thinking. Is this not a contradiction? First, you said impossible, but then you said that nothing is impossible. So which is it? Here, impossible refers to the situation in mortal space-time, but possible refers to an environment which transcends it. Impossible refers to the limited material world, but possible refers to the unbounded non-material world. Impossible refers to the principle of universality, but possible refers to the principle of particularity. Impossible refers to conventional common sense, but possible refers to unconventional thinking. Thus, there are no contradictions. It is difficult for people to change their natures. If we compare them to stones, then it is impossible for them to become watermelons. I often hear people say that someday his conscience will sting him, meaning that someone who hurts you now will eventually learn that they were wrong and apologize or repent and compensate you for your loss. But a stone is a stone and will never become a watermelon. In other words, it is extraordinarily unlikely that a person who hurts you will ever find their conscience. If you agree with this point of view, then you can handle your interpersonal relationships in this way along your life's journey. If someone makes you unhappy when you deal with them the first time, stop there. An old expression goes, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." No stone will ever transform itself into a watermelon. If someone looks unpleasantly toward you, do not look back at them in the future. You will be sick of them for the rest of your life. If someone cheats you once, do not assume that you can ever trust them in the future. They will do it again at every opportunity. People who doubt you will always doubt you no matter how you argue, explain, or prove yourself. They will keep doubting you forever. People who dislike you will never like you regardless of what you say, do, or how well you treat them. People who entangled you the first time you encountered them will do their best to keep you entangled forever. Those who fail will always fail, and those who succeed will always succeed. Do not expect one who has failed to succeed someday. They will fail again. Avoid failures. An unreasonable person will never reason with you. Trying to reason with them is futile. The story of Mr. Donghua and the wolf tells us that no matter how compassionate Mr. Donghua was to the wolf, it would always eat him. The story of the farmer and the snake tells us that no matter how much the farmer pitied the snake, it would still kill him. The story of the fisherman and his wife tells us that her greed was insatiable. Someone who does not care much about love will always leave you heartbroken no matter how much you love them. People who betray you once will keep betraying you all the way to the nth time. Untrustworthy people will always find excuses to defend themselves. Never expect them to keep their words. People who make you feel uncomfortable will never put you at ease. If you disagree with my point of view, then you can try your own way. A stone is born a stone, and a watermelon is born a watermelon. Human are born to be human, and immortals are born to be immortals. 长相与品质关系初探. A probe into the relationship between appearance and quality. Xuefeng. April 14, 2019. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. Is there any relationship between a person's physical appearance and their life quality? Let us analyze it. First, I would like to make it clear that this is only my personal opinion, or a quick view, but maybe a wrong conclusion. If you disagree, you can absolutely stick with your observation and analysis. Anyway, just do not swear at me. Relation 1. The prettier the physical appearance, the more beautiful the soul. Relation 2. The uglier the physical appearance, the more beautiful the soul. Relation 3. There is no direct relationship between physical appearance and the beauty of the soul. The conclusion of my observation is that people with more beautiful physical appearances have more perfect life qualities. I know that this result is beaten by countless examples, such as Hugo's Notre Dame de Paris. In it, there are 4 main characters: Esmeralda, Claude, Quasimodo, and Phoebus. Claude looks great and talented, but is sinister, vicious, hypocritical, cunning, mean, and selfish. Phoebus is also handsome and unrestrained, but he is sinister, cunning, hypocritical, rude, frivolous, and and vile. Quasimodo is in sharp contrast to Claude and Phoebus. Quasimodo looks very ugly, but is kind and loyal, rich in justice, pure and innocent. Esmeralda looks beautiful, but is simple and pure, kind and innocent, compassionate and sympathetic. She is the only one who is consistent with my conclusion. Let us look at Sudaji in the legend of deification. She looks beautiful and coquettish with a graceful figure, but she is a snake, scorpion-hearted, and inexplicably vicious, which is completely contrary to my conclusion. But hold on, let us analyze and spy through the huge and voluminous chaotic phenomena to see if there are some rules that can be discovered and followed. There have been 10 very handsome men in Chinese history. They were Pannin, Songyu, King Lanling, Zidu, Wei Jie, Murong Chong, Song Wengong, Han Zigao, Duga Xian, and Ji Kong. They all share the features of having very charming styles, were exceedingly beautiful, tall and slender, handsome in shape, possessing smooth skin, and were natural, unrestrained, and graceful. As for their characters, there are many praises with very few derogatory words for any of them. This shows that good-looking people are not always bad. There have also been 10 very beautiful women in Chinese history. In addition to the fish sinking, birds alighting, breathtaking Shi Shi, Wang Zhaojun, Diao Chan, and Yang Guifei, there have also been Feng Xiaolian, Sudaji, Zhao Fian, Zhang Dan, Bao Si, and Zhunmi. These women's beautiful appearances cannot be overstated, but except for the praises of Shi Shi, Wang Zhaojun, Diao Chan, and Yang Guifei, the moral qualities of Sudaji, Bao Si, and the rest are mostly negative. What are the relationships between their appearances and characters? History has long passed, so we cannot go back to live with them and study any of them. The characters in the literary descriptions only represent the writer's uses of the past to satirize the present or to express their own feelings and aesthetic values with the help of their character images, which is not enough for factual evidence. For example, the white-bone spirit, fox spirit, spider spirit, jade stone lute spirit, and white rabbit spirit in Journey to the West, and the fox spirit, especially the painted skin in Strange Tales of a Lonely Studio, can only be treated as characters in novels, but not as facts for judging the nature of real people. For that, we can only use factual, scientific, logical, and spiritual approaches to analyze them. In reality, there are no less than 400 people who have had relatively deep interpersonal relationships with me. My observation of them is that the more beautiful the person appears, the purer their character is. From a scientific point of view, appearance is the expression of reality and the external form of the non-material structure of life. The more perfect the structure is, the more symmetrical and beautiful its appearance is. It can also be seen from Water Knows the Answer that the more beautiful and kinder the reality is, the more beautiful the shape that it projects will also be. And it can be concluded from this alone that the better the inner quality is, the more pleasing to the eye its appearance will be. From a logical point of view, if there is a flaw in something, then something must be wrong with its foundation. The appearance of a building is determined by its drawing, which is determined by the architect's aesthetics and knowledge and experience of designing structures. You picked up a porcelain bowl and found that the bottom of the porcelain bowl was slightly flawed. This flaw was not caused by the bowl itself, but by its mold. That is, the bottom of the mold was flawed. Therefore, the appearance of a person is determined by their inner quality. The better their quality, the nicer their appearance. The poorer their quality, the ugly their appearance. In terms of spiritual sense, when I lived in the 1,000-year world, I saw that every man was handsome and elegant and every woman was glamorous and charming. Later, through the continent for 3 realms lives to pass through, I found that the men and women in the 10,000-year world were even more delicate and beautiful than the ones in the 1,000-year world. The 1,000-year world and 10,000-year world are within the kingdom of heaven, so people in both places are pure of heart and noble of character. This further proves that there is a direct proportional relationship between appearances and characters, which means that the better the former, the more beautiful the later. The phenomenon that now confuses us is that many handsome men and lovely women in our world have looks that are nowhere nearly proportional to their inner qualities. That is to say, some people who look pleasing to the eye are rather ruthless when dealing with interpersonal relationships, while some people who cannot make people look back at them are kind-hearted and genuinely decent. So what is going on here? After observing and considering many people for a long time, I found that the problem is that no matter how someone looks, once they step into business, a battlefield, officialdom, Vanity Fair, love, or a casino, their soul will be affected by money, power, fate, fame, gain, carnal pleasure, and other such things. They will not be the same individual that they were in Tathagata, but will have been driven by the devil's program and will have become obsessed with money, power, fame, carnal pleasure, fate, fortune, and will have lost their natures. We therefore draw the conclusion that appearance is directly proportional to quality, but for people in corrupting environments and situations, appearance has nothing to do with quality, and we cannot judge people that way. You need to be careful where appearances and quality do not match lest you reap beans from melon seeds. From this, we learn the big secret that if a person wants to restore their Tathagata nature to go to heaven, then they must not enter the vortex related to money, power, fame, gain, and carnal pleasure. If they do, then their pure and beautiful souls will be distorted, their Tathagata nature will be covered up, and their appealing looks will be trampled on and defiled by their very selves. Unless rigorous cultivation enters their lives, their future destinations will definitely be bad. Another truth that I discovered is that if a person gets along well with others with whom they have no direct interest, and if they are beautiful, then we can basically conclude that their quality is also beautiful. My final conclusion is that when a person is in a state of selflessness, their appearance and life quality complement each other. The more beautiful their appearance is, the more perfect their life quality is also. 求证,若无益便有害. Seeking confirmation. If it is not helpful, then it will be harmful. Xuefeng, March 29, 2020. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. A proposition suddenly occurred to me. If something is not helpful, then it must be harmful. What does this mean? It means that if an entity such as a country, political party, religion, organization, group, piece of food, house, car, type of money, contract, agreement, stock, field, company, business, computer, mobile phone, article of clothing, shoe, chicken, duck, fish, news item, some information, people, or anything else cannot benefit you, then it will definitely harm you. For example, a WeChat group that you join which brings you no happiness, joy, freedom, or blessing will eventually bring you worry, pain, sorrow, and anxiety. A house that you own which does not add convenience or other benefits to your life will bring you the anxiety of managing it and consume your time and effort. A dog that you raise but does not bring you the warmth that you had expected from it will definitely bring you trouble that you never thought of. An employee who is recruited by a company but who fails to benefit them will definitely become a drain on them. Let us analyze someone with whom you associate, whether they are your sibling, friend, relative, colleague, spouse, net friend, or other acquaintance. As long as they bring you no joy, peace, or safety, then they will definitely bring you pain, worry, and crises. If this proposition is true, then the opposite must also be true. If it is harmful, then it is useless. Is this proposition absolute? Is it extreme? If yes, please demonstrate. If this proposition is true and is related to the happiness and future of your whole life, then you must take it seriously. For example, if you make a net friend but find that they make you worry, unhappy, or prove to be a waste of your time and energy, then you should immediately cut off your new relationship because if it is useless, then it is harmful, and if it is harmful, then it is useless. Especially in the early stage of a romantic relationship, once you find something that upsets you about your new lover, the relationship should be severed immediately and never developed any further. Once you fall in, you are going to cry for the rest of your life because if it is not helpful, then it is harmful. 普世价值有多好? How good are universal values? Xuefeng, August 29, 2019. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. The concepts and ideas that make people happy, joyous, free, and blessed are universal senses of values, or universal values for short. Is it good or bad to have them? We all are familiar with highways. As long as we obey traffic laws on them, we can usually drive unimpededly. Whether on the roads in Africa, Europe, Australasia, or the Americas, as long as our vehicle body widths do not exceed 2 meters, we should be able to drive freely throughout the world. This maximum vehicle width of 2 meters is universal, but what would happen if it were not observed? There would doubtlessly be traffic jams. What if someone were to drive a vehicle on the road that is 4 meters wide? Of course, all the cars on the opposite side would have to move away, or it would be difficult for anyone to move anywhere. This one case alone is enough to prove how good universal values are and how bad it is to violate them. Today is August 29, 2019. This is also a universal value. With this universal value, recording and communicating is made smooth. If you disagree with this value and insist that today is November 37, 3085, then life would become unreasonable and communications would be blocked. China and the United States have recently experienced some trade congestion. What is the reason? It is that either China or the United States did not observe some universal value, or maybe neither country did. Either way, once the universal value was not observed, it led to inevitable congestion. Universal values should not be mixed with national, ethnic, religious, regional, or special interest sentiments. Once a value falls under the influence of any of these, they are no longer universal. Trump's America First and Xi Jinping's Chinese Dream both carry national sentiments, so neither are universal values, and since they are not, they will undoubtedly lead to traffic jams. Buddhism's reincarnation and Christianity's resurrection and Last Judgment beliefs are in sharp contrast to each other because the roots of these two religions are so completely different. In other words, Buddhism and Christianity have no universal values, and neither do many other belief systems. So if there are religious sentiments in the concepts and ideas, then they cannot have universal values. Socialism and capitalism cannot share universal values either because the former cannot satisfy the capitalist, bourgeois, class, and the latter cannot satisfy the working, proletariat, class. Quarrels between people, arguments between political parties, competitions between interest groups, and wars between nations are all caused by their lack of universal values. If everyone had universal values and abided by them, the world would be a paradise. Today, the concept and philosophy that best embodies universal values is the 800 values for new era humans. By pursuing them, mankind would move toward a thoroughfare, natural disasters would decrease and calm down gradually, and everyone would enjoy happy, joyous, free, and blessed lives. 我在桃源县有群打情骂俏的感悟. My feelings on flirting in the Xanadu Fairy Friends WeChat group. Xuefeng. April 3, 2020. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. There are several masters in this WeChat group, but they rarely have the free time to chat with me. Of the 83 netizens in it, only 7 or 8 chat with me occasionally while the others are mostly silent. Only 4 or 5 members talk to me regularly. Though they are not Chanyuan celestials, they are happy to chat with me. I do not spread values in this group, nor do I teach scriptures. I concentrate on talking about love and flirting in order to observe their reactions. From a few recent chats, I have gained these 4 insights. Few are enlightened. Very few people return to their nature, which proves that people are still on their roads to enlightenment. The acme of good writing is nothing special. It is only being just right. The acme of good character is nothing unusual. It is only being one's true self. Those who are truly enlightened and masterful of Tao and Dharma no longer talk about scriptures and Tao, but return to their nature. They chat, brag, discuss hem and mulberries over wine, and are mainly based on having a good time. You can observe those great scientists and wealthy entrepreneurs. Instead, they talk easily and dress plainly, without a little shelf and the aura and desire to show off their wealth. The more a dabbler in knowledge, the more people like to show themselves off, the more they want to look superior, and the more they like to show their uniqueness. This situation is particularly prominent on the web, including WeChat groups. The less they understand about Buddha and Tao, the more they like to talk about them. The less reasonable they are, the more they like to talk about reason. They are like poor people who wear brand name clothes to show off their wealth. They are pitiful. Few have original thoughts. The vast majority in WeChat groups and WeChat moments are info porters. They have no original thoughts or opinions but keep busy all day exploring treasures across the vast network and on WeChat, and then move their treasures intact from one place to another in order to brush their senses of existence and let people know how smart they are. In fact, the more that they copy and paste, the more that their ignorance and folly are shown. Without their own thoughts and opinions, they carry so many things every day only to tell others that they are microphones. They are ridiculous. Many pretend to be gods. It is good for ordinary people to be ordinary, but I do not know where these people find their courage to pretend to be gods, to summon wind and rain, to ride whirlwinds, or to be blockbusters and masters. I found that within China there are many wannabe gods, and an endless stream of these masters are emerging constantly. They talk about terms and principles that they do not understand, each sitting in a serious manner, looking both ridiculous and pitiful, just like funny performers in circuses, which are very much worth seeing. If they should ever happen to stumble across a real master someday, I do not know if they will try to hide their shame. Speaking of this, I also have a cold sweat on my body. When I am talking about others, am I also a pretend master in the eyes of higher experts? Therefore, I still need to behave myself by tucking my tail between my legs and being an honest man so as not to make a fool of myself and seem absurd to others. Few understand the truth of life. What on earth do people live for? Few people think about this, and still fewer understand that finding happiness is an original, key purpose of life, but they just do not know where to find it. Originally, joking, flirting, talking about love, chatting, and laughing was one of the simplest, most direct, easiest, and most effective ways to find happiness. But no one seems to take flirting people seriously, and flirters are seen as having low tastes and the hobbies of country bumpkins, as if these judges are themselves, ladies and gentlemen. Some people have also criticized me for looking for stimulation because of my spiritual emptiness. Some people even used a sermon in the Shurangama Sutra about lewdness to insinuate that I am evil. Bloody hell! Would Xuefeng dare to do this if he did not thoroughly understand the Dharma? Would he dare to seduce and flirt with women so openly? The ultimate goal of Buddhism is to transform people to let them leave suffering and attain happiness. Am I violating Dharma by making people happy? Buddha has no set rules. His rules are always situational. Buddha said that our mind should not abide in form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma, but should abide nowhere. As long as it allows people to leave suffering and attain happiness, then all the methods are dharma. Is it necessary to strictly observe the scriptures? Just talk about the above 4 points. In fact, I have many more insights. I hope that the Xanadu Fairy Friends group becomes a happy base camp. 扑克牌游戏真上游中获得的启示 Enlightenment gained from playing poker. Struggling upstream. Xuefeng. September 16, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. The nature of playing poker and mahjong are very similar. Players have no control over which cards they are dealt, and this has many similarities to life. I have summarized them and wish to present the following 9 revelations. It is impossible to predict what you will draw or which card will come up next. The cards you get are totally beyond your control, and you can only resign yourself to your fate. Life is very similar. No one can control the type of family into which they will be born or whether they will be rich or poor. These things are the mere results of fate. The cards one draws basically determine the results. If one gets a handful of bad cards, then no matter how superb their playing skills are or how profound their wisdom is, their ultimate loss is almost guaranteed. Life is the same. The environment of one's birth and their early conditions basically determine the direction and result of their life. No matter how hard they work, the result can only be tragic. Even with a good hand, the results are not necessarily wins. Whether you win or lose is still determined by the overall game. If others have many straights to play while you have all unmatched cards, then you cannot beat them. All you can do is watch them play their cards, and you will not even get a chance to play your cards at all. Here is how luck works. If you draw a handful of well-matched cards, then you will win. If you draw all unrelated cards, then you will lose. Life is the same. Even if you were born into a superior environment under great conditions and with excellent morality and wisdom but run into bad luck,